In today's pod, Sumeet and Barjinder join me to recap the Milwaukee Bucks Game 3 turnaround to bring the NBA Finals to 2-1 versus the Phoenix Suns. We cover game plans, player performances, and the Raptors' likely return to Toronto. I'm Param, and this is Operation 6.
NBA Finals, Game 3. Bucks take the game, 120-100. What do you guys think?
That was an entertaining game. I think the series has life now. The Bucks have life now, and
yeah, they kind of found their way today.
They brought it back, man.
Yeah,
that was a good game to watch.
It's
the Suns gave them a scare in the third quarter. The Suns cut it down to 4. They're up 15 at the half, and the Suns cut it to 4. But after that, the Suns went on a massive run, and they killed the game.
Overall, the Bucks definitely felt like they were in control of the game, which is the first time you can say that at all in the series. Because in the other games,
first time I've really heard that with a Chris Paul game, a game that Chris Paul's played in all season. Even games that the Suns have lost, it's felt like they've been in control.
Except for probably a few that we're forgetting about, but yeah, for the most part,
it feels like they're the team that always has the foot on the throat, making the other team try to beat them.
And the thing about it is, it's not the thing about the Suns. It's not always when they're when Chris Paul's in the game. You can also see, like, if it's like Cameron Johnson at point guard, they still have a good offense. But today they just didn't. They just couldn't find it. And it's also
that's what it is, right? Role players play better at home. Yeah. The Suns role players showed up at home, and I'm not saying all their role players didn't show up because Cam had a big game. He had a huge dunk tonight. Yeah. Crowder had a big game. But Booker, that was the one where Booker shot 3 of 14 from the field for 10 points. He had a rough game. He looked a bit shook tonight. And maybe that broken nose is bothering him now.
I don't know. I don't think that would really affect his shooting, though. Maybe I'm wrong. Like, as a shooter, you're definitely you're uncomfortable with the amount of space you have, wary of your nose and everything. But then again, it's not like he can't jump in. It's not like he's jumping differently or anything. Right.
Yeah, I think it's needless to say the biggest story from tonight's game is Drew Bledsoe turning into Holiday again. 21 points on 14 shots, 21, 5 rebounds, 9 assists.
He had a game.
Yep. He had a really good game tonight. The combo of him and Middleton in game 2 had 28 points on 37 shots. Tonight they flipped it around. They had 39 points on 28 shots.
Yeah.
So they actually added to Giannis's 40 tonight. Last time, Giannis had 42 and they gave him nothing. This time, Giannis had 41 and they contributed very heftily and pushed the Bucks over the top.
And Drew Holiday also played amazing defense. There was certain times in the other game where he'd get a block here or there, but he would also make some slip ups defensively. Today, I didn't really see them at all. He was locked in on defense.
And I think the job he did on Booker, off the top of my head, I think he made Booker miss 3 mid-ranges where he switched on to him and forced him into the paint and then forced him into a tough shot. But
we've seen it with Drew Holiday where he's able to not 100% lock up James Harden because who really can, but he bothered him a lot. And you can see that James Harden was struggling against Drew Holiday, right? But this, the last 2 games, you still saw people scoring on him. Today, I feel like he definitely gave Devin Booker a lot of problems.
Yep. Crazy stat line got for you guys is Giannis, the 2-time MVP. He's now in for NBA's finals history. He registers back-to-back 40-plus points, 10-plus rebound games, joining Shaquille O'Neal and LeBron James.
Damn, that is a very good company, and that just goes to show you those two are probably the 2 most physically dominant of the 2000s. Obviously, LeBron's the only one we really got to watch, but his physical dominance was just out of this world. And then same with Shaq. So it just goes to show you that he's that guy today in terms of physical dominance.
I'm surprised that Wilt isn't on that list.
Yeah. What do you guys think Giannis stands in terms of stars in the league?
He's definitely up there.
We're definitely gonna do this in another pod, so I don't really want to give away my ranking right now. But he's definitely in that top 5. He's 100% in that top 5, and that's because of his gravity under the basket and his defensive impact. The combination of those two and the efficiency he plays with, even though he lacks what Sumeet calls a bag, he doesn't have the bag of moves yet. He's still a top 5 player in my eyes.
But how can you say yet? Because he's an MVP. An MVP has to have an actual bag.
No,
right?
he was an MVP because in the regular season, teams aren't geared up to stop that style of play. But in a 7-game series, you saw our team, the Raptors, stop him. You saw the Heat stop him. In the regular season, it's harder to do that kind of thing. But he's showing that he's not a regular season player. As per the 42 and the 41 back-to-back, he's in a company with Shaq and LeBron. He's showing it. He's not a regular season player. He is an MVP. He is their MVP.
Yeah.
And he played like it tonight, for sure.
But here's my question. Sorry. I just have one question, though. Do you think maybe the voters should be allowed to take the playoffs into consideration when it comes to the MVP? Because we've seen Giannis be not completely stopped, like he'll score, but get like really badly slowed down to the point where he can't lead his team to a victory.
I think I think the best way, and I think this is what they're gonna continue to do, is just leave it as a regular season award. Because if you do what you were saying, teams like the Nuggets, where Jokic won the MVP, partly because Murray wasn't there and they still finished as a 3 seed, you wouldn't see that, and it would kind of be lost. That would be lost in history because they did what you're saying and gave it to Giannis. Then he would get the Finals MVP and the MVP. Kind of defeats the purpose of the Finals MVP, in my eyes.
That's a good point.
I agree with Param on that one. Yep.
That's a good point.
Where do you guys think the series is going to go now? Suns, Bucks. Do you think Bucks can bring it back, tie the series?
I think the Suns will take it. That's my pick for Game 4. We'll see what happens. I may be eating my words in 2-3 nights when we do the next pod, but
I ate my words definitely when I called Suns for the sweep.
Yep.
I don't know.
All right, though.
I mean,
I said the Suns can bring it back.
I said Suns in 6 max. So let's see if that plays out. But I want them to finish it in 5. The faster CP can get his ring, the better for him. And I'm a CP fan, so I'm trying to be unbiased because we're doing a podcast here. But it's hard to when see someone like CP3 is on the floor and every basketball person just wants him to win his ring.
I definitely see the Bucks winning next game because of their performance today, and it's definitely in part of being at home for the role players. But then again, they have to keep up the defense, and Drew Holiday can't turn back into Drew Bledsoe. So those are definitely 2 factors, and maybe Devin Booker comes back with a much better game next game, and maybe Chris Paul goes off even more, right? Like he has like 30 points and 12 assists, like I said before. But
I definitely think he can. Chris Paul has the capability and the skills to do that.
100%. And maybe DeAndre Ayton doesn't get into foul trouble again.
I think the home crowd has a lot to do with the foul trouble thing because they kind of force the ref's hand sometimes. And it makes a huge difference. I don't think Ayton will get into foul trouble at home because of that, because the fans will get on their ass about it. But I think there's potential that he gets in foul trouble again next game, especially because of the kind of players he's playing against, especially Giannis, who just attacks relentlessly. Every possession tries to jockey for position. And we'll have to see, but they really need Ayton to stay out of foul trouble, especially because Kaminsky gave him nothing. In the Kaminsky minutes, the Bucks were eating. He got dropped at one point by PJ Tucker. He did get trucked by PJ Tucker on a different play. PJ Tucker dropped him once, and that guy can't dribble worth a lick. So I don't see why you want him on the floor. But if they don't have him on the floor, then they'll have to have either Cam or Crowder near the basket, and that's just a layup line.
Yeah, at one point they even brought in Abdel Nader to maybe see if he can give him some kind of life, but
nothing.
Yeah,
that's kind of what's to expect though. It's Abdel Nader. I don't really expect much out of him.
It's not like Dante Jones in the 2016 finals.
Yeah. Another big thing that I noticed tonight, especially in the second quarter, if you guys recall last game, Giannis when he sat for I think 25 seconds off the top of my head. They went on a 7-0 run, and tonight Giannis sat for a minute and a half stretch in the second quarter, and the Suns made a +7 run in those minutes. Not the Suns, sorry, Bucks. They made a +7 runs, flipped it around. Maybe it's a home court thing, but they really played well without Giannis on the floor. What do you guys think?
I feel like the way that the home court is, maybe it's not 100% the home court, but from what I see, the home court is really having an effect on the two teams. And it's also a testament to the experience of both of these teams, that they both rely on the home court for success. You know?
Yeah, they're also dominant home court teams in the regular season. So their home court advantage is there, especially because the fans from both cities there are bonkers.
That's great. That's true. But at the same time,
those teams haven't been in the finals in decades.
Yeah, at the same time, though, veteran teams don't really let away crowds get to them. Like KD would still show up no matter where he is. You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's a big difference.
I think for the next game, one thing to look out for is whether it's another roller coaster game, because tonight's game, the Bucks came out on fire and it was back and forth. At one point, they're up 15, cut it to 4, up to 13, down to 6, back and forth runs. But at the end, they ran away with it. Let's see if it's like that next game or whether it's more.
Today's game was definitely a roller coaster, but at the same time, you could definitely tell the Suns were punching up. You know, like they were steps slow. Yeah.
They definitely were trying, but I think the home court thing definitely goes into it. I think they just need another game. I feel like I honestly, I'm probably gonna just speak nonsense here, but I honestly feel like the Bucks got lucky. You know, I could be eating saying nonsense.
I really honestly agree with you, because I don't think they're gonna have another 3 or 14 performance from Booker. If Booker plays to his average, and makes, let's say, even like 7 of 14 shots, I think that's a good. He's going to take more than 14 shots next game, first of all. Be damned if he shoots 20 shots.
Yeah.
Or less than 20 shots. I'll be like dumbfounded, to be honest.
When you said the Bucks got lucky, I thought you meant like they got lucky because Drew Holiday played well. But yeah, like they got lucky that
they got lucky performance, right?
Yeah.
But overall, I'm just saying I don't see the Bucks winning by 20 or even just going on major runs like how they did.
I feel like
the next game.
I feel like what's most likely to happen in my eyes next game is Devin Booker is going to have a better game, and if the Bucks win, it's going to be a much closer game.
Okay.
You know? So
I think it's going to be a much closer game. I think Booker is going to come out much more. He's aggressive. I think he's going to come out on fire next game. I think he's going to have a Kobe performance, and that's what I'm expecting. And I think that's a good expectation for him. For Devin Booker, he should come out with the guns ready to,
Okay, but my question is, if he doesn't come through with that kind of performance next game, do you think that
it's going back to?
Yeah, but do you think that also affects his image? Because right now everyone sees Kobe, right?
It's his first finals. It's his first playoffs. I think we're forgetting the fact that it's his first playoffs ever, and this is his first first finals road win. I don't think he was flustered. He didn't look flustered.
Yeah.
But they made it very difficult on him. I think the Suns are gonna make adjustments to get him better looks. But I also think he's gonna come out on fire next game.
I hope.
I wonder how many seasons it took Kobe to actually get to the finals.
He was in the finals in 2000, drafted in 96. 4 years.
Booker is in 5.
No, I think he's in his 7th season. 2015, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It's his 7th year.
Damn.
So
I mean, it took MJ 7 years, but at the same time, MJ was already way above Devin Booker's level.
Well, no, MJ came out of college an absolute god. Like everybody wanted a piece of him around the world, and it stayed that way for the rest of MJ's life. Even to this day, when MJ's walking down the street, everybody wants Michael Jordan.
Everybody would recognize him too. He's just a world idol like that, man. World star.
You can't necessarily say the same thing about Booker.
Booker is still in the NBA.
Yeah.
So in terms of on-court relevance, obviously he has it, but I don't think Devin Booker cares about that. honestly. From his personality, his demeanor, I don't think he cares about popularity. I think he just wants to win.
He's just being himself, honestly. Like, especially when you see him, like, say, like when he pulls up, like in his like old school car with like a suit on and everything right before the game, like that's just him being him, right? Like,
Man's got style. He's got the swag. He got style, bro. He got the swag. I think he's gonna use that swag next game. Come out on fire, man. I think so.
I feel like that may also be the difference between him being at home and being on the road. Is at home he's able to like do his thing, right? He can
get into his zone.
And stuff. On the road, he's rolling up in the team bus, right? That probably like affects his mental state of mind.
Yeah, definitely. I think when you have a certain routine and that routine gets disrupted, it messes with your readiness. Is the simplest terms to put it in, I guess. I could say.
Yeah.
Anyways, anything else you guys want to talk about game related?
Yeah, I just got like one more thing I want to ask you guys is I know Giannis was injured, but seeing today's game, he came out there like pulling like some risky stuff, right?
Yeah.
You guys don't think so?
He fell on his back one time. I think Bucks fans like were terrified for a second there because he almost took Middleton out with him. And that would have been a tragedy.
Oh, he almost landed on his head. Like he was close.
He almost landed on his head. Well, actually, Middleton struggled, so it may have been a plus. But no, I'm not gonna
knock him in his head once.
Yeah. But that was scary to see. That would have been the series right there. I think if Giannis gets hurt in any game, I think that just fuels the Suns.
Yeah, knock on wood, he doesn't get hurt.
Knock on wood. We want to see the best of the best play.
Yeah.
It's not a series without Giannis.
That's very true. But also, I'm pretty sure it was only that it's sore right now. There wasn't any actual structural damage, which obviously, like, thank God, because I don't want the Suns to win just because Giannis was out, because, like, that's just not even fair. Like, I would feel
no
terrible.
Structural damage. It's good to see Torrey Craig play tonight after his scare. Yeah. It looked like he would be done for a while, but he came out and played. I don't think he really made his impact felt. And he's Torrey Craig, so he's just supposed to add on to what the stars do. But it's just good to have him out there because, especially with Kaminsky struggling, you don't want another body that is missing.
Hopefully for next game, Torrey Craig is able to contribute a little bit more and make it so Kaminsky doesn't have to play as much because he's hot garbage.
Kaminsky got killed tonight. I can't stress that enough. They need Dario so bad because he's getting out rebounded by Eric Bledsoe. Why am I saying Drew Holiday? We've done that twice this pod. Drew Holiday, and he had a moving screen a minute after getting out rebounded by Drew Holiday twice. So when you just have a big man out there that isn't doing anything, when it's his job to anchor the defense, anchor the offense, you need Dario really badly right now, and it just sucks that they don't have him.
I honestly feel like Dario's potential isn't necessarily being like 100% fulfilled because I'm pretty sure he hasn't really like displayed it, but I'm pretty sure he has a better like playmaking ability, like he can pass the ball more, shoot the three, which he hasn't really been doing. That's
the thing about a lot of these European dudes though. They have a bigger game than they use oftentimes.
Yeah.
And they're content with it because these guys just want to win. A lot of these guys have been playing professional basketball since 14. A lot of them have been losing situations since a young age. They just want to win.
Yeah.
Even they're 26, they're pretty young. They've been in losing situations for so long that they just want to win games. And like,
it's completely
Dario's one of them.
It's crazy to see how different things are over there compared to over here. It's like they're playing professionally from 14 and we're trying out. We're at tryouts for high school.
Yep.
Very different.
Anyways, and other news before we close out the pod. The biggest one I'm going to start with is Raptors are looking pretty set to come back to Toronto next year. Adam Silver is hopeful. I think we want a bit more than hopeful, definitely, because the Raptors really got messed up last season being in Florida, playing in Tampa. But it's good to hear that they're going to be back in the town. Can go hit up some games, hit the town,
Yeah, it's good.
From our end, things are opening up, so it's looking a little bit brighter. I think they're opening up theaters on Friday, like up to 50%. So like 50% capacity. So it's looking a little bit brighter, a little more like light at the end of the tunnel.
Hopefully it doesn't crater like it did last year when the winter hit.
Vaccines are out, so people are getting them.
Hopefully Chris Guy's wrong.
I mean, he's been right, but
he's been right up to this point. Let's hope he's wrong. I see he has a point, but
I just feel like it's the way he goes about it personally. I don't like it. I don't have a problem with it personally. I don't have a problem with it personally, obviously, but I just feel like when you were screaming around like that, it's not necessarily the best way to get your message across. That's just my opinion, though.
All right. And the next piece of news that I have has nothing to do with the floor, but it's still an NBA player. So I don't know if you guys heard, I think a week or two ago, Terrence Ross got his Lambo stolen.
Oh damn.
They found the Lambo and they found the kid that stole the Lambo. It was a 16-year-old kid, and he's being charged and sent to prison.
That man's playing GTA in real life, man.
That's playing GTA in real life.
That's crazy.
That's crazy that a 16-year-old kid did that.
Yeah.
Just the mindsets. Meet the 17-year-old kid, like that's
That's if I stole a car.
That's not even speak those words.
Nah. I mean, I'm never gonna do it. It's not like there's a chance, right? I'm never gonna do it.
That's just this guy ruined his whole life. Like,
yeah.
What did you gain? It's a car. You know how easy it is to fucking track a car? Like,
yeah. I mean, maybe
especially a Lambo. You know how many there are? Like, there's like none of those, bro.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I'm not telling anyone to steal a car, but if you're gonna steal a car, steal a Civic.
Yeah, like
don't do it though.
Yeah. Well, that kid's life is over now. Anyways,
I mean, he probably wasn't in the best position to he probably forced his hand, maybe a little bit. Everyone has.
Terrence Ross has to get better security for his stuff, though, man. You can't be getting your car stolen out here.
Especially get your Lambo stolen, bro.
Especially your Lambo, bro.
Yo, come on, what is this?
That ain't it.
Come on.
Was it stolen from his house or?
I don't know the whole story. I just know it's stolen, and he found it. He got it back. Congratulations to Terrence Ross. I miss him. I wish he was in Toronto still. But
I mean, Serge is way better.
I'm not trying to get into this now because I miss Serge too.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning into today's pod. Shout out to Kaizad Draws for the logo and YouTube banner, and to Yash and Ryan Gaming on YouTube for the thumbnails. Also, huge shout out to Vic.Ash for the music. Links to their pages are in the description below. Once again, thanks for listening, and like, comment, and subscribe for more NBA content. Parminder, how could you?
It's been real, bro. It's been real.
How could you forget?
It's been real.